Hello, everyone. This is Dan Wolf, Director of Products for BigFix. I manage product management and product marketing for HCL BigFix out of the US. I'm very happy to talk to Integrity Software and its clients about the strategy and vision for HCL BigFix. So, a little bit about the problem. This has been a challenging time for everyone, and it really helps define our vision and roadmap. More people are working from home now than at any time in history. That brings all kinds of new challenges. How do you support corporate and BYOD devices? How do you simplify enrollment and device setup for those newly working from home employees? How do you enforce corporate IT policies that you may have? How do you patch at-home machines, maybe even employee-owned machines? How do you provide remote support with this new workload? All with reduced budgets, which we're all seeing in reduced resources, reduced people, and reduced budgets spent on multiple complex endpoint management tools. So the challenge is really exacerbated when you have a real world, non-homogeneous type of environment that includes multiple operating systems, legacy solutions, old databases that are business essential, and then managing vulnerable, unpatched, and susceptible systems who can have configuration drift, especially doing this across millions or hundreds of thousands of devices. Poor visibility really plagues most IT organizations. Operational complexity increases errors, increases cost, not only of running the software, but of managing and maintaining these multiple systems. And then the whole thing about unmanaged change. You have users who are doing many things that they shouldn't be doing to open holes and increase your attack surface. And if you look at endpoint management solutions, these kind of traditional point-in-time solutions that if you look at compliance, or you can also consider this patching level over time, there's lots of reasons why these systems fail and many times leave you at 50, 60% patch or compliance success. Disconnected endpoints, complex infrastructure like relays and touch points like that can disconnect your endpoints, so you can have endpoints that are actually off grid, for periods of time. Patch Tuesday. Everybody scrambles around Patch Tuesday. What if you could easily deploy and patch these systems that are identified with Patch Tuesday vulnerabilities instead of waiting for them to be deployed through complex infrastructure? Gaps in reporting. So if you can't see an endpoint, or it takes a long time to get a response from an endpoint, that leaves you gaps. You don't know what's happening. You don't know if a patch has been applied or compliance has been achieved. And finally, end users change configurations all the time, whether they change registry settings, they try and disable endpoint AV, change other configurations about an endpoint, affecting your compliance. So point-in-time solutions really make it difficult to maintain compliance. Then what about the vision? Our 5-year outlook is that, in 2025, there's going to be 21 billion things to secure. It's not just, client desktops. It's not just mobile devices, but the cloud is bringing in all kinds of new endpoints, containers across multiple cloud platforms. IoT is probably the biggest indicator here that brings great convenience and great advantage for companies, but then there's also the opportunity for great threats as well. At the same time, there's too many tools from too many vendors that don't work together, that create errors. If something breaks somewhere, you don't know who to go to get it fixed. Increased patching compliance mandates. I mean, the SolarWinds attack, which we're all talking about, is going to result in increased compliance mandates. We feel it here. Customers are very concerned about all the products in their IT supply chain. BigFix is a very secure, well-designed application, but customers are very concerned about everything in their supply chain. The skill shortage. It's not just security, but IT operations in general suffer from a lack of skills, particularly when you have very specific, complicated systems. How do you fill them out? How do you make sure you have operators 24/7 for all the products that you have? Then in the future, endpoint management is going to keep up. It's going to accelerate towards cloud, multi-cloud management solutions that treat your endpoints across multiple clouds, Amazon, Azure, Google, etc., as a full class member of your IT environment. So being able to manage all those just like you do anything else. Automation. is extremely important. I mentioned that skill shortage. That's one of the ways you can address that by being able to automate, baseline setting, being able to automate compliance and patching and things like that for groups, being able to do bulk enrollment, being able to automate end users to drive their own enrollment is where it's going to be at. Also, endpoint management is going to incorporate analytics from across the enterprise. So analytics such as from SIM products, from things like ServiceNow, being able to get a fuller picture of your endpoint community with intelligence from other places can help you speed decisions, speed remediation, especially in the case of an outbreak, and more. Endpoint management is going to break down the barriers between IT operations and security. So you'll see a little bit later, I'm going to give you a taste for something we're doing with the vulnerability remediation or vulnerability management solutions like Qualys and Tenable and Rapid7 that is going to really break down the current existing barrier between these teams in terms of finding vulnerabilities and remediating vulnerabilities much, much quicker. Endpoint management will reduce malware propagation and data loss. I would say that the endpoint protection business is really around blocking threats while they're in process. Endpoint management works up front before the attack ever happens to reduce your attack surface, close those gaps, and make and if malware does attack, it's able to propagate less, it's able to inflict less damage, and exfiltrate less data. Endpoint managers also reduce time to resolve breaches. So in the case of a breach, if you can track by EDR products, for example, will tell you how the attack happened, what vulnerable services there are. Endpoint management can help dramatically reduce the time to block those holes, to remove malicious code, find and remove malicious services, and make sure that attack doesn't happen again, or that existing attacks are mitigated more than they would have been. Endpoint management will integrate with and be integral to secure DevOps. Big topic today is secure supply chain due to SolarWinds. Endpoint management tools have an opportunity to be a full-fledged member of application security, code scanning, DevOps, and CI/CD processes, so that you, from cradle to grave, from software product inception to production to end of life, can all be much more secure than it is today. Endpoint management will also reduce the number of tools, capital expense, and operational costs. Right now is a big vendor consolidation push. As budgets go down, there's fewer people to run multiple complex tools. So there's a great advantage if you can do multiple types of functions under a single system. You can save a lot of money, not just in software, but in personnel cost and data center costs and everything else. So, endpoint management direction for BigFix. There's four main areas that we are going in the future. So you all know MS SCCM from Microsoft and BigFix, two of the key players there. We intend to continue to delight our customers in the on-premise data center and so forth. Modern device management. Intune and VMware have been out there. We've made major progress in agentless management with our MCM, Modern Client Management capability, which we first shipped in March of last year with BigFix 10. And we're investing heavily in this to, just in January 21st, we just shipped new versions of Modern Client Management in our platform that helps expand our capabilities for Windows 10 and Mac OS, which I'll cover here in a minute. And we're adding mobile devices later on this year. Cloud. Customers tell us over and over again they don't have the skills to understand all the native capabilities in Amazon and Azure and Google Cloud. So multi-cloud capabilities is essential, and BigFix is right there to deliver those now and then later on this year with a major release. Then in DevOps, lots of people are using Chef, Puppet, Ansible. Our Urban Code product, which is now called HCL DevOps, is also in this space, and hey, it does all kinds of stack building, software update, and so forth. Products like BigFix and IT operations and compliance have a strong role to play in really proving compliance, especially to industry standards, PCI, GDPR, and so forth. Now, continuous compliance is a term we use to describe BigFix, and it's proven to be, after all this time, our continuous advantage, where we continue to have a key advantage over all other solutions. Because the intelligence is embedded at the endpoint, um, this really helps maintain high baselines. It helps customers get to over 90-95% patch success all the time when other systems are stuck at 50 or 60%. So this is a key capability. Over time, customers really enjoy high levels of patch compliance with BigFix. Just a little bit on what we just shipped. So BigFix 10.0.2 and Modern Client Management 1.1. Modern Client Management, we released our new zero-touch provisioning and bulk enrollment capabilities, targeted on agentless management of Windows 10 and Mac OS. Saved hundreds of hours of IT effort imaging machines, and a very simplified experience for users that reduces errors, reduces frustration, and reduces help desk calls. We've also exposed support for hundreds of additional security settings that you can access via APIs to Windows 10 and Mac OS devices. BigFix 10.0.2, our new platform, much faster and easier. We got a great customer feedback on actually the second bullet item on here, where it says 20x improvement in distribution of big payloads, big software distributions, OS deployments, big patches, 20x improvement in that speed. And also much greater simplified capabilities in helping manage AWS and Azure via the cloud native APIs. Also, we've simplified a lot. Simplification and modernization is a big effort that we employ in every release that we do. And then, of course, at the bottom here, many other platform improvements across all of the OSs and platforms and databases that we support is what really a key value for our customers that we continue to invest in. So what's coming next? BigFix Velocity. So we were acquired by HCL in December 2018, and the dramatic improvement in the size of the development team, the investment in global sales has essentially gone up by 3x. BigFix 10 was the first indication of that in March 2020. BigFix 10.0.2 and Modern Client Management 1.1, I just mentioned in January. We're going to have a significant release here in April around vulnerability remediation with key partners in this space, so look for that. BigFix Next, around mid-year, we'll have things like mobile device support, extensive new cloud compliance capabilities, simplification, modernization of the user interface, simplification of the architecture as well, so fewer databases. There's lots of things we're doing to improve BigFix and make it more applicable. Then after that, really entering and redefining this whole unified endpoint management space. That these other players in UEM, whether it's Intune or AirWatch or Mobile Iron, they support basically 4 operating systems. So we're adding iOS and Android to be the true unified endpoint management player that covers more operating platforms than any other vendor. BigFix from the cloud. Yes, we are getting to that, so that look for plans to emerge second half of next year around BigFix from the cloud. And then advanced cloud management and cloud compliance, I would say as well, are key directions going forward. Okay, here's just a taste of the vulnerability capability that we're going to be shipping. So this is a new dashboard in BigFix Insights that has information directly from Tenable, which shows scores coming in to help prioritize actions. And the effect is we'll be automatically creating superseded patch baselines in BigFix. It's going to it's just basically going to crush the gap in time and reduce almost all manual labor coming from when scan data comes in from a Tenable or Qualys or Rapid7 into BigFix. So finally, just a quick tour of all the things that BigFix does. So discovery, vulnerability assessment, discovery and enrollment, OS provisioning, OS hardening, software distribution, power management, end user self-service catalogs. And we've increased that quite a bit with self-enrollment. And service, integrations. You may notice if you haven't checked it out, bigfix.com, we have a whole new page of integrations, 12 market-leading products. QRadar, Resilient, Forescout, ServiceNow, 2 integrations on there that work great. and of course Amazon, Azure, and Google, and then we're adding many, many more this year. In security, continuous patching compliance, so ensuring that your attack surface is minimal as possible. In compliance, we will continue to expand our compliance standards. We currently support PCI, CIS, DISA-STIG is a U.S. federal government standard, and then work to help customers, eliminate that configuration drift that drifts them off of these compliance standards. And finally, in analytics, so Insights is our open data analytics platform. We have high hopes for that, and we're investing in extending that to be a full-class enterprise analytics platform for IT operations. So you can find out more about that on BigFix.com, as well as the data schema, which we just published. So finally, a couple assets that you can go check out. So 5 steps to reduce tool sprawl, a nice white paper, and help customers reduce cost, and then addressing the work from home challenge, all with very, very neutral, helpful tips on how you can affect change, reduce costs, help better support your users. So again, this is Dan Wolf, Director of Products for BigFix. Thank you for your time.